it continues to be the same question. What do you want us to do for you to help the world? How can we serve?
How else can we be of service? How else can we bring this to more people so that we can connect them with who they are and what they came here to do?
And we thank her for showing herself to us in the sense that we feel on the days when we may be discouraged or not sure what to do next, that she is really with us and that she is guiding us and inspiring us.
This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. The heart of this episode is about following your dream or vision from that higher calling, inspiration space, spirit-led. This is for you if you are on a spirit-led path or want to open up that channel as you move forward. I have two guests, Robyn Brecker and Karen Loenser. They are business partners in Seeking Center. As they describe it, a company revolutionizing your wellness and spiritual journey with the best practitioners, experiences, and products on the planet. There is a website full of incredible content, including a podcast, as well as a treasure chest of healers, coaches, psychics, astrologers, and more. I have many layers in my world, from soul to spreadsheets. Today is definitely on the soul side. I'm using a special episode format that I only do once in a while. We look at a pivotal growth moment for the guest, unpack some of the ahas and insights from that time, and look at how it all can be leveraged in the future. Let me give you the scoop so we can get right into the conversation. The growth moment in Karen and Robyn's startup journey was working on their first joint project several years ago. A TV pilot that takes someone at a life crossroads and pairs them with different spiritual and wellness practitioners. Think soul makeover instead of a house or beauty makeover. Robyn and Karen are both award-winning television and digital producers for the likes of Oprah, Discovery, and Nickelodeon. This time, it was just them. Creating a pilot episode with almost no budget, only a single day to shoot, a real deal human, Sarah, who had never met any of these practitioners, everyone hoping magic would happen. An authentic reality show. We jump in as Karen is describing what this growth moment was like. I invite you to listen for what resonates and calls to your spirit.
I think for me, I was really following along in the footsteps of Robyn, who had really been through a lot of these experiences already. So I had my producer hat on as we went to shoot this pilot, with really being sort of that front row seat representation of our audience, of really going in there going like, this is cool, but I don't really know if I believe this 100%. And really being blown away as I watched this woman, Sarah, go through all of these experiences and the holy shit moments that she had as she experienced all of them. Like, it was truly, for me, I think, the first time I really realized that we were onto something really incredible and really inspirational and really authentic here. And I think that sort of sealed our partnership in really wanting to create content that could inspire people like we had been inspired on that day.
And I would say the other part of it was actually working together, having to rely on one another in this very high demand environment, because when we were shooting this pilot, we only had one day.
Wow.
And we had flown in several of the practitioners that were also going to be working with her. And everybody had from 9 a.m. to midnight, really, to work together. Basically, we knew we were kind of in a high pressure situation. And so the fact is that Karen and I were able to navigate that day together amidst, because we were working with magical people, there were legit things going on with the production in terms of batteries being drained and lights going out and really things that when Karen and I have been on production and set before don't typically happen all together like that. And so we were able to navigate and get incredible footage from this day that we were able to put together into a real pilot for the show.
And so, Karen, when you were saying you went from, partially believing that this was all legit, et cetera, into full belief kind of in a day, in a less than 24-hour period, how would you describe your perspective and what you were showing up for beforehand?
I think the best way to put it is joyful, because I came to discover, actually our job when we met, Rob and I met, we came with this intention of coming up with some idea of how to share wellness experiences with the world. And when we were able to conceptualize and storytell this woman's life experience and seeing the impact that it could have on her in its authenticity, like we didn't have to shake anything up. We didn't have to fake anything.
Right. You didn't have to go, okay, could you say this? Or let's try to, bring the pretend emotion that's a real emotion.
None of that. None of the stuff that you see kind of behind the scenes on the reality TV creation. Like we were all, and there was every single person in that room was a volunteer. Every single person in that room was bringing different levels of belief, support, but belief, maybe not so much. And to have them all witness the transformation of this person.
That's what keeps coming up, is that you guys created the space, and it wasn't about perfection. It wasn't even about top professionalism, like, oh, we're doing this right. This is how we produce. And not that it would have been, or that other shows are transactional, but it really hits me. You guys could have been in a transactional space that day. We got to get this done. We've got to get, we have a lot riding on this, but you almost surrendered to a transformational experience.
That's right.
We did. And the other people that were also transformed were the practitioners.
How so? Say more about that.
So we had different practitioners came together. None of them knew each other prior to this day. Several didn't live anywhere nearby. They didn't know who they were working with. We kept that a secret until they met with the person. So they had no idea what they were walking into, which was the fun part of the fun of it for the viewer. We knew that would be fun.
Again, the authenticity of this. This is not fake. This is not preset.
Correct.
And that's what we wanted to do. The interesting approach was that Robyn sat down with Sarah, the person that we shot. So the viewer got a chance to really have that behind the scenes understanding of who she was, what she was going through. But the practitioners had no idea. And so when they had each experience with Sarah, they were all picking up on various aspects of her life that when we introduced in the show,
the viewer knows, but they don't know.
Correct.
Yeah. And we knew because of the people that we work with in general through Seeking Center, but we knew the people we brought together at that time. We knew their abilities.
That they could be transformational. They didn't need to be scripted and prepped and polished.
Correct. And so what was unbelievable was that the same themes, sometimes the same words, and completely different modalities would come up in each of the sessions. And what this woman was not only able to receive validation, but true healing, energetic healing, medical healing that really ended up prolonging. She had a terminal illness, and it prolonged her life for over a year. And she credits that day for that.
Okay. Can we just have a pause of the word that comes is reverence for that? Wow.
Yeah, she had never had any of these experiences before. So she was completely new to all of them. And for us to be able, we as a group followed her. We had calls with her following that to see how those experiences transformed her life, and her not even just from on her body, but her spirit, and how she felt.
Right. And her experience of the end of her life.
Yeah. She had this team of people who really genuinely cared about how she was doing and how she felt about the experience. And again, with Robyn's help, like to help her translate it all, because as you can imagine, she had so much information, so much energy work coming at her.
Well, to integrate it.
Correct. That's the best word. Yes, Amy, the integration afterwards, which is so critical because Robyn and I've always said, like, now that we've experienced these things, it's wonderful when it happens, but then it's like, what do you do with it afterwards? Right. So,
well, as a coach, that's such the biggest. I was just texting back and forth with one of my clients, and that's one of the pieces for me is I can't just work with you in a session and good luck with that. Hope it goes well. The growth happens in between. The healing, in your case, happens in between. It's not this one and done. It's the process, the journey. And to me, Seeking Center is all about that, not just a single hit of revelation. And then now what?
Exactly.
Ooh, so I'm having a big growth geek out that you guys made that show because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. So on a style show, yes, you have a team of all your people or your home makeover, but your healing or seeking journey, I've never seen different energetic spiritual wellness modalities pulled together in that way.
Well, and the reason why we did it is because when we originally pitched the show idea, we got a lot of pushback from producers saying, oh, that's not going to make good TV, right? There's things that you're going to have to do to make it good. And Robyn and I, that was our really defining moment as partners. I'll never forget sitting in front of them and us both looking at each other going, what?
Bullshit. Yes, it will be good TV.
This is not going to make like transformative, inspired, like exciting, all of it television. And so that was really why we set out to do it, because we wanted to prove it to ourselves, but also to have that vision.
So what were you proving? We proved blank.
We proved that you can take different modalities, you can take energy, and you can take a person who feels lost for whatever reason, and you can pair them with the right translators of that, the right healing practitioners, and you will end up receiving the guidance and the healing and the knowing without a shadow of a doubt.
What is resonating or speaking to you so far? I was struck by how Karen and Robyn completely surrendered that day. They trusted what was calling to them, this higher purpose, to prove that a spiritual and soul makeover is valid in this world. As they put it to me later, to fly their quote woo-woo flag proudly, to have the courage to move away from the transactional straight into the transformational. I know damn well that my most powerful coaching, content, and impact is when I surrender to my intuition and calling. That whisper or sometimes loud voice within my head and my heart. I often block it and stick to a seemingly safer traditional path. I don't always fully trust it. It being God, universe, spirit, intuition, instinct, whatever you want to call it. It's like I have one foot in and one foot out. Of course, there is more than one right answer or path. Someone's biggest impact might come from surrendering to a clear-cut scientific process or business first principles. I think the point is to trust what's right for you. It comes from your beliefs, values, vision, and mission. Inside out, not outside in. I think that's what I'm wanting for you today, the courage to embrace what most deeply calls to you. So keep listening for what is meant for you to hear today. We go back in as I ask Robyn and Karen to continue to reflect. But coming back to the growth moment of that day of creating that show. So some of the pieces were certainly a surrender to authenticity, a surrender to transformation. What else would you say you welcomed and embraced that day? What other words?
I think for the first time, we also recognize the power of storytelling in a completely, really different way. I mean, the way we shot this, I remember saying to Robyn, it's like, we have to make sure that when we get money for a real budget to do this, that there's a portion of this that maybe we just shoot it on an iPhone, because it put you in that realness of the experience. And for me, it was the first time I realized that the power of not shooting it in a high tech, over studioized way.
Right. Where it looks like every other reality show on that, it's like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. It's like we were really taking the viewer there and putting them in that front row seat.
I'm also hearing that day you surrendered to being very present.
Yes, we had to. Even from the start, I live in a suburb and it was a weekend. Didn't think there would be any sort of noise issue. Let me just say that we kind of mapped out how to use my house. So my house, every room looks a little different. It's designed different is the way to put it. We knew where we were going to shoot our first thing, which was our interview with Sarah. The person next door to me, something happened in their house the night before where it flooded, and they had this van that was basically sucking all the water out from the top. So it's like this motor. How were we going to shoot this? It was so loud, which honestly, my neighborhood's not that loud. But my point is, like, starting from there, it's like surrendering to the universe and what the timing was.
So to the present moment, not just presence, being present, but to the present moment, to true reality.
The true reality.
And then I'm also hearing, if it's right, trust was a big part of the day.
Yeah.
It was like none of us, besides Robyn knew some of the people in that came and helped us, but I didn't know them. We were using everybody's different cameras. We rented a light kit that we were setting things up like literally on the fly, and we knew we only had one day to get it all done. And so you're right, Amy, that trust that this story is going to be told by us, but also by the guides and angels that were with us.
And so I know we've all talked about the entity of Seeking Center. Can you explain that in your own words of where the Seeking Center entity fits in, and how, and is she the right pronoun that
she
where she showed up that day? Because it feels like she was kind of in charge.
She has been, I think, from the minute Robyn and I, even before that, she's inspired both of us to go on our own journeys to get to that day.
So explain what you mean by a Seeking Center entity.
So we have channeled Seeking Center's energy. And what we both, even separately, when we've channeled, see this powerful goddess is the way we like to think of her. And she's wearing this pink, we see pink, she has red hair. She is just gorgeous and powerful and also kind. So she's all and confident. Mm-hmm. And she has this white wolf that she works with.
Oh, gosh.
And so so that's the way that like we see her.
So you have partnered with this energy, with this purpose right from the get-go. And even if I have that right, she was pulling you together.
Yes.
No doubt.
Had her own game plan of knowing what she wanted to do with you too.
It's funny how you put it that way. I also think we have realized that even together, we're just sort of the orchestrators of this broader vision of which she is the power, right?
Again, you're an act of service. You are serving this purpose.
Yes. And there have been so many situations that we've encountered along the way where we've had to second guess ourselves. Like, are we doing the right thing? Are we going down the right path? And it always comes back to not what we want, not what we think is the right thing, but what is our role in bringing this to life? How are we supporting sort of this larger energy that we know the world needs so much? And so she has become our beacon, our compass.
Well, and your North Star of how to stay at the right frequency. But I think about the industry that you all have grown up and worked in all these years that can be hijacked, as we talked about the reality TV shows, hijacked let's say, again, by the transactional, by not just the money, but by ego, and where people and fear, scarcity, not abundance, all of it. So these characteristics out of that growth moment of a day, authenticity, transformation, purpose-led, reality, realness, presence, trust, how will you need those more than ever in this next phase? Because you are fundraising, you are building like crazy. It's all happening now. How did the lessons from that growth moment pull you forward? I am flying my woo-woo flag now. I'm enchanted with their powerful, red-haired, pink-gowned, seeking center goddess with a kick-ass white wolf. What a marvelous energy to partner with. In fact, I welcomed her in as I worked on this episode. I asked her to help me be an active service today for you. You might see or sense your own energetic entity, or you have a tight partnership with God, or feel that you're serving a clear purpose or mission, not necessarily any kind of spiritual force. You might be thinking, what the heck is Amy and these women talking about? I think what matters is that you pause to reflect on what your beacon, compass, or North Star is, and to not give a damn if it makes sense to anyone else. Fly whatever flag you choose. We have just a little time left. We jump back in after I ask, how do the lessons from the growth moment pull you forward?
I love reflecting on that because Karen and I have not reflected on that in quite some time. That was actually almost 5 years ago. You know, when I think about the way that you just put that and those words, they are what have kept us going. There's a lot of people who've said, oh, you're still doing that?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And listen, our podcast has become somewhat successful. I mean, in whatever terms you want to, use that word success, but it's successful to us because it touches people.
And it's adhering or meeting those values that we just
inspiring. Exactly. And so with our larger vision of the view and the do, that has morphed as technology has changed, as media has changed. What we wanted to do originally is no longer the right path. Like we've had to morph with it. And those words that you used are what have been our foundation. There is no doubt. And I am so grateful to you for pointing that out because I have.
Well, it's just high, it's like they lit up. All these different pieces lit up.
Well, and I think that's the key too, right, Amy, is that if you're going to be an entrepreneur in this world, building whatever vision you have on a strong foundation is so important. And so what Robyn and I have been able to navigate has really built that foundation for us. And then sort of relinquishing that vision to what we believe is this higher power, is this higher inspiration and direction for what we're trying to do, and not having our white knuckles.
Right. We're controlling this, damn it.
Yeah. We've never really done that. Because of this belief that it isn't about us and we're not creating it. We are orchestrating it. We are enabling it. Because of that, I feel like we've done so much of the work to build this, we're going to build on a very strong foundation from here because we know that Seeking Center is really behind what we're doing and supporting it.
And because we can't be put in a box. And I think what we were running up against as we were starting out, to your point of there was ego, there was power, and it was so much of you need to fit into this.
Yeah, you have to fit into something we understand. Otherwise, we can't do it because we're so narrow-minded.
And this is something that's never been done before. So.
And imagine like the feeling for us now going into these investor meetings. It's completely different. We're not at the mercy of someone liking us or giving us the money in that sense.
God, isn't that, as women?
It's changed.
Moving beyond that, because Seeking Center with her glorious red hair and her pink gown and her white wolf, she's not worrying about somebody likes her or not.
No. And to be able to have that sense of confidence going in that, listen, if we like you, you can give us the money.
Right. And if we're not right for you, bye-bye.
Exactly. It is having that perspective. And I will say, I will credit Oprah, who is my former boss,
Yes,
for showing me and many of us the way, because she did something that no one had ever done before. And that's why I knew when we would be in those meetings and people would say, you have to do this and you have to do that. I know you don't, because I've produced stuff that where you don't have to do that. I've seen it over and over and over again in my almost 20 years there. There was no reason to fake anything.
So what do you want to ask Seeking Center today, and what do you want to thank her for?
Wow. I mean, I think for me, it continues to be the same question. What do you want us to do for you to help the world? How can we serve?
How else can we be of service? How else can we bring this to more people so that we can reconnect them with who they are and what they came here to do?
And we thank her for showing herself to us in the sense that we feel on the days when we may be discouraged or not sure what to do next, that she is really with us and that she is guiding us and inspiring us. And having that, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah, right? I am too, of the goosebumps. And so what are the goosebumps, Karen?
To me, that's truth. Every time I get that, it's I'm speaking the truth or I'm hearing the truth and feeling that energy of the truth and support from her. And what greater partner can you have?
What else could you want out of a partner? What else could you want from a leader?
Yeah. And I would say I would want to, in addition to that, which I thank her for me, it's thanking her for bringing all of these opportunities and people into my life, for bringing Karen into my life. Like, Karen is definitely a soul sister, soul mate in my lifetimes, and for reconnecting us in this lifetime to bring more like peace and transformation and love to other people, and just for bringing us together, Amy, bringing all of these people that I feel so aligned with in my life. It's really what keeps me getting up every single day.
What a rich and rewarding growth conversation. Look at the power of reflection, finding the heart of your experience and using it as a foundation to pull you forward through the inevitable trials and travails. Whether it's building a business, a relationship, family, wealth, or just out in the world making a difference. Karen and Robyn's words include surrender, authenticity, transformation, purpose-led, organic, true reality, realness, presence, trust, and service. What are yours? I'm definitely going to spend some time on mine. Today, we leveraged the power of past growth to fuel our present and future. I hope you are inspired, more confident in creating your own box, flying your flag, being true to who you are and what you believe, and that you will continue to ask how you can be of service. I've included information and links to Seeking Center, as well as for Robyn and Karen. Be sure to explore and experience their active service if you feel so called. You know, I would love to hear what you found today for your own seeking journey. You are most welcome to your personal growth moment, one-on-one private coaching, or join one of my coaching groups or workshops. To get the scoop, visit thegrowthmoment.com and do subscribe, follow on your favorite podcast app and my YouTube channel. Now get out there and grow today.